So this is Pioneer Merfolk, and in particular, there's a lot of things going on in this deck, but the card that's specifically putting the deck over the top is Deeproot Pilgrimage. So Deeproot Pilgrimage is whenever one or more non-token Merfolk you control become tapped, create a 1/1 Merfolk creature with hexproof. So this thing, obviously, when you attack or you have any tap abilities, puts the Deeproot Pilgrimage like way over the top when you're just generating a token every single turn. So we have some aggro stuff in Knowpe Scout and Kumena's Speaker. We've got then Kumena himself, where this is one of our primary ways to tap our Merfolk down, and in particular, he can draw cards, and then once we get enough Merfolk, he can just start antheming them all and making a really, really big board of Merfolk. Then we've also got Silvergill Adept to draw cards, which we're almost going to have a Merfolk, so we can just draw a card off the Silvergill. We've got Vodalian Hexcatcher, which is a lord that also turns our Merfolks into Force Spikes. And with, again, the Deeproot Pilgrimage, it means that all of these random tokens become counterspells for the Vodalian Hexcatcher. There's Merfolk Trickster, which we can use to just tap down a creature. Sometimes removing abilities is relevant too. And then Tishana's Tidebinder, the new bestest Stifle creature in Ixalan, which we can use to also counter a bunch of stuff, and it has Flash. And we also have many creatures with Flash, so between Tishana's Hexcatcher and Trickster, that is a lot of Flash creatures, and Coco as well on the top end to Coco into all of this. There's a few more things. Some Merfolk deck will play around with various numbers, so like Benthic Biomancer is not really that good, but you can use it to loot. Glasspull Mimic is just a land that can also be a copy of, like, you know, another Hexcatcher or something. And then these dudes are like not great aggro creatures, but they're usually like 2/2s that are decent. They get better when you have lords in play, and then you can use like Kumena and whatnot. And then for lands, the lands are pretty straightforward as well. We do get to play like some Mutavaults. We get to play Cavern of Souls so that our guys get through counter spells. So there's a little bit to say there as well. So then the other version was an older version of the deck. So the main difference between that one and this one is there's more like Benthic Biomancers. So 4 of these guys, and Mistcaller, which is more relevant in the Amalia metagame when you need to stop things like Return to the Ranks, Coco, and Court of Calling. And you can see there's also another Mistcaller in the sideboard. This version is also not running any Merfolk Tricksters, and by not running that, we have Gigantha availability in the sideboard. And there's a few more things. So the main difference here between the other deck is obviously the addition of Copter, but then Agatha's Soul Cauldron. So you spend mana as though we're mana of any colored activate abilities of creatures you control. Creatures you control with +1 counters on them have all activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. And tap, exile target creature card from a graveyard. When a creature card is exiled this way, put a +1 counter on target creature you control. So Benthic Biomancer has the Adapt ability. It also naturally, because of the adaptability, gets the +1 counters on it, which means that it itself can have the abilities of any activated abilities in your graveyard, and it also gets the +1 counter, and when it's in the graveyard, all of your guys have Adapt. Vodalian Hexcatcher, another really good activated ability, and Kumena, another really good activated ability. And then Vizier of Tumbling Sands is actually relevant in that as well. It does allow you to have those abilities also. Then the sideboard, we've got some bounce spells, the second Mistcaller, Change the Equation, Stroke, and Dispute as more counter spells, Shaper Sanctuary for the removal heavy matchups like Rakdos, and then there's one Haywire Might and the Damping Spheres. And that is Merfolk. So let's jump into our league. All right, we are on the play for round 1. Reveal Gigantha. This hand looks pretty bad. We don't have any of our engine cards. We have a card that's only relevant in certain matchups, and then we have 5 lands. So let's mull this. All right, that's better. So what am I putting back? Keep this, and I am not putting back a land. I'm not putting back Pilgrimage. I'm not putting back Kumena. So probably the worst card is Knowpe Scout. Probably. Although it also gets a counter on it, and we don't have to spend any mana on the Benthic. Maybe Benthic's the worst. All right, let's put Benthic back. All right, so Sanctum, Knowpe Scout, Trigger. Top card is Kumena's Speaker. Bin that. Over to them. Temple Garden. So if this is Amalia, which I think it is, one thing to note with Merfolk versus Amalia is with Deeproot Pilgrimage, you can just generate a token every single turn to chump block Amalia and then eventually overrun them. So as long as you don't just die to the initial attack, you can actually get to a point where the huge life gain from the Amalia deck doesn't matter. All right, let's definitely play Deeproot Pilgrimage this turn. So shock this in, cast Deeproot. Then we go to combat, attack with Knowpe, triggers the Deeproot Pilgrimage to make a token. Blooming Marsh. So Lunarch, Veteran. Oh, then almost certainly Amalia is coming next, right? That's the only reason I could see them doing it that way. Yeah, so there's Amalia. They gain life. Lunarch Veteran, which I assume they'll bin. Yep. So if they just have the Wild Growth Walker off the top, we're dead. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, yeah, like, if they have it, they have it. So let's play Kumena. And then I can draw a card at instant speed and make another token. So I guess we just pass here. Shocks in a land. They have it. All right, cool. All right, we're dead. All right, versus Amalia. I guess change the equation to counter their bullshit. Mistcaller. Fading Hope seems really bad. Like, we bounce their guy and then they just get their guy back. I guess we can technically deck them, right? No, we can't. The way you deck them is you have to either make Amalia or Wild Growth Walker indestructible, or you have to make Wild Growth Walker indestructible, or you have to jump Amalia's power, neither of which the bounce spells do. So the bounce spells basically just prevent the combo for one turn, and then they just replay it. So these are the cards that are good, and then the cards that are bad are like crappy aggro creatures that will never kill them before they go off. I'm gonna bring in Stroke too, because it counters Coco, Cord, and Return to the Ranks. All right, let's do that. Reveal Gigantha. We have one land, and if we don't find a land off the Cenote Scout, then we're screwed. All right, Mull. All right, so keeping this and putting back not a land, so putting back probably Cenote Scout. All right, put back Cenote Scout. So Cavern, name Merfolk, cast Benthic, Overgrown Tomb into Goose. I'm probably just adapting this turn, right? Shock this in, adapt, trigger. I have a bunch of lands I don't need, so let's get rid of that. Combat, attack, Dina. All right, so we have to get Mistcaller into play now. Oh man, Kumena too. Man, if they just untap and have Coco, like, it's just so much more mana efficient to play Kumena here. We're also not going to get comboed. I can't even really attack, right? Yeah, all right, let's just play Kumena and pass to them. And then we can play Mistcaller next turn. They don't even have any white mana outside of Goose. They have Cord a Calling. All right, that's not that bad. They're just going to Cord for one thing. Cord for two. I assume this is just to get Amalia. No, they're getting Innkeeper. All right, well, let's play Mistcaller. What's the exact right thing? I need to find stuff. So let's cycle Vizier and untap Breeding Pool. There's Soul Cauldron, so play Benthic. I guess if I drew a land here, I would play the land for Soul Cauldron. All right, so activate this to draw 3, or to draw a card, rather. All right, we didn't. So play Benthic and go. So there's Amalia. Yeah, so Dina drains plus exploring. They have Innkeeper on top, which I assume they'll bin, probably. I would bin it. Yeah, they bin it. And then Dina resolves. And if they just have Wild Growth Walker in their hand, we're dead. Looks like they don't. They're not even attacking, even though they could attack with Dina if they wanted to. All right. So if I play Soul Cauldron, it means that this can now tap Vizier's ability. So to untap mana. All right, cast Soul Cauldron. So let's eat the Innkeeper. Then let's target the Benthic. We drew Copter. All right, what am I ditching? I guess Kumena. All right, ditch Kumena. And then we can draw another card. So tap 3, this one. I guess I'm tapping himself because I'm probably not going to be able to block Amalia. So tap 3 Merfolk. Let's tap this one, and this one to draw a card. Another Cauldron. All right, well, all right, play this and then pass. They're going to try to Cord here, and then we're going to sack Mistcaller. Yeah, I'm definitely not used to this. So I shouldn't have activated this on Innkeeper. I should have just waited, and then that way I could have Mistcaller in the graveyard. Yeah, so sack Mistcaller. And then I could have Agatha'd the Mistcaller and then made all of these other guys also have Mistcaller's ability. So a mistake on my part. They have to have yet another Cord or Coco, if that's the case. They grabbed Lunarch Veteran. Okay. Shock in Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, of course. They just have Coco anyway. Whatever. So the thing is, like, even if I'd held this up. All right, there's the lethal. Even if I'd held that up, they still just have Amalia in play and can continuously just pump it, and I don't have a way to stop that. We have 2 lands. We got Deep Root. All right, keep this. They're a Karuga deck, which means it's either Fires or Quintorius. All right, Cavern, naming Merfolk. Then we cast Kumena Speaker. And then next turn, I can Hexcatcher / Deep Root Pilgrimage. Temple of Abandon. All right, it's Quintorius. So this Hexcatcher is going to be enormously helpful. Although I can't counter the Trumpeting Carnosaur channels. Play this. Play Deep Root. Let's just start getting tokens out now. Attack. Make a token. We're not going to be forced to interact with them for a while. We've also got Tidebinder to stop Quintorius and Carnosaur. So yeah. Mutavault. What's the best thing to do here? It's probably Kumena draw card. We're not forced to interact with them until next turn. So let's just play Kumena and Pass. Tainted Remedy should be nice to use against Amalia. It's just more expensive than Knight of Dusk Shadow, and they both get hit by Skyclave anyway. All right, Magma Opus, make a treasure. Plays another land. All right, end step, tap all these guys to draw. Trigger this, make a Merfolk, draw a card here. All right, Cavern, name Merfolk, play Deeproot. Then we can Kumena activate, tap these three, draw a card. We get double tokens, we draw, and then we can get more double tokens. So we have pretty much infinite Hexcatcher stuff. So let's just pass here with Hexcatcher open. Greater Tanuki, that's fine. All right, so we have to be aware of the combo at any moment now, but we've got double instant speed ways of stopping it. And we're going to have probably lethal on the board next turn if this Hexcatcher survives. Jetmir's Garden Cycle, that's fine. Steam Vents tapped. All right, tap these three. So trigger, make some more, flash in Hexcatcher, then activate this. Yeah, they're conceding. All right, so Quintorius combo, I want what? Mist Caller? This doesn't actually stop Quintorius, it only stops Carnosaur. Change the equation to stroke, I guess Dispute. Damping Sphere technically stops them, but not in a really good way. Mistcaller only stops Carnosaurs from coming. It doesn't stop Quintorius himself. All right, so what do I not want? I feel like anything that's just super slow, like all these 1-drops here seem really bad. Mistcaller doesn't stop the copies. It doesn't stop non-creatures. If a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it. So Quintorius into clones, the clones copy Quintorius, so it doesn't stop those. Yeah, all these 1-drops seem horrible. I mean, the Mistcaller at least stops Carnosaur triggering into clones, so that's something. Let's just get rid of... I still need, like, a curve of some kind, though. So Kumena Speaker 100% sucks, so let's get rid of that. And then what else? Copter's okay, but not great. So, like, Damping Sphere's alright-ish. Like, it does stop them from comboing out, I guess. Haywire Might is what? They're not on the Leyline Binding version. They're on Rug, or they're on... Yeah, so that's not relevant. So yeah, let's just get rid of Cenote Scout. Maybe I'm supposed to cut Copters. I'm not sure. All right, we have a curve. We got interaction. This seems fine. Keep. Plays Temple. All right, Botanical into Benthic Island. We do have to be prepared to interact with them. All right, they're making a treasure. Is there any reason to hold up change the equation right now? I don't think so. So that being the case, it's better probably to just loot or just play Agatha's right now or Damping Sphere right now because I'm not going to get another chance to play Damping Sphere. Yeah, let's play Damping Sphere. Combat, attack Benthic. Mountain. Cycle or channels the Tanuki. All right. So we have to be prepared for Carnosaur next turn, so I have to leave change the equation open. So let's play this tapped, and let's go to combat and attack here. Garuda. Well, I was not prepared for that. Uh-huh. All right, well, Garuda. They milled over Carnosaur, which I can't counter because it just comes directly into play, right? Or Gear Hulk. I guess I can counter whatever they're discovering into now. No, unless they discover into a clone. Well, actually, they can't discover into anything, right? Because Damping Sphere stops them. All right, they just revealed all of that. But we still have to deal with this in play is the problem. All right, adapt. So I guess I should have left Breeding Pool open to counter this. How do I win with this on the board? Probably getting Deeproot Pilgrimage into play and then going off somehow. So let's get rid of... We're probably just going to lose here, though. Let's get rid of Tidebinder. Triple Deeproot. Jesus. All right, I can play Agatha's and then my own Damping Sphere is screwing me because I would otherwise double spell. I mean, this is 13 and I can't really stop it. So Agatha's, and then I guess I just pass to them and take a huge chunk of damage. I don't know how I get to the point where I can block all of this, especially because this guy's trample. Yeah, all right, no blocks. Cavern of Souls. Oh, cool. We can't even counter their stuff. Demon. Quintorius. All right, so Agatha's eat Vizier out of my graveyard. So resolve this ability. Then we loot. Let's put deep... I don't need triple Deeproot, so let's discard one of those. Then I can untap a land, and then we can change the equation countering this. All right. How many creatures are in the graveyard? 1, 2, 3... Just 3. Okay, so let's go Deeproot Pilgrimage. Then we're going to have to shock in to play Mistbinder. So untap this, which triggers the Deeproot Pilgrimage. Then we shock in Breeding Pool, and then we can cast Mistbinder. Yeah, I mean, we're still going to die. So, like, I don't, whatever. Over to them. Chump here, and then I take 3 from this guy, right? Or 4 from that guy. Swing... So we declare blocks. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're going to lose both. So block here. And then Agatha's eat Gear Hulk out of their graveyard. Then put the counter here. So we take 4 and go to 1. Quintorius. And they can pay 1 for the damping sphere, and then we're dead. Uh-huh. All right. So, yeah, as I suspected, the damping spheres are not effective. So let's get rid of that. They actually screwed up our own turns by making us have to pay more when I could have gotten more stuff going. So I guess Cenote Scout's better than Speaker, so let's bring those back. That's it, right? That's fine? Yeah, that's fine. Let's go with that. All right, this seems okay. Let's keep this. We've got Cenote into Deep Root Pilgrimage. Seems decent. Shock this in, cast Cenote, trigger that, get a land. All right, over to them. Tap land. All right. Ooh. All right, play this, play Deep Root Pilgrimage. Then we attack, we make a token. Let's play Kumena, and then over to them. Channels the Tanuki, All right, activate Kumena, tap all these dudes, then make a token, then draw a card. So back to us. So now I gotta hold stuff open. So this guy's sort of free. They only have 4 mana, so it's Quintorius next turn, which means change the equation is good enough. Therefore, I don't need to hold too much open. So let's Benthic. I'm definitely going to draw a card. So let's, I guess, what's the math here if I just pump my team, right? I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 11 lethal next turn if I just pump the team instead of drawing. Yeah, that seems fine. I guess I can attack once, right? Because I'm still going to make a token by doing that. All right, so go to combat, attack with Kumena, trigger. So if they cast Quintorius, we change it, and then we just pump the team, and then we can, I think, kill them, right? All right, well, let's animate this Mutavault, activate Kumena, so tap, 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 trigger, make a guy, put all this stuff into play, trigger this thing to loot. What am I discarding here? Soul Cauldron? All right, discard that. Yeah, all right, so we've got lethal. They're gonna concede, and let's move on. So one thing you can do is that if you do have Soul Cauldron and Vizier, you can Soul Cauldron the Vizier, and then as long as you've got 2 creatures in play with the +1 counters on them and a Deep Root Pilgrimage, you can tap one to untap the other, tap one to untap the other, and make infinite tokens. So that's where the combo aspect of this version of Merfolk comes from. I hope we get to do that at some point. On the play, reveal Gigantha. We have 3 lands and a bunch of okay spells with Kumena. All right, let's keep. How's it been treating you? It's fine so far. Shock this in, play Kumena Speaker, Mountain. All right, I feel like I should cycle Vizier here. So let's attack them. All right, play an island, then cycle this. Trigger, untap the breeding pool, Hex Catcher. All right, next turn. Second mountain, so mono red something or other. Oh, it's Convoke. What? Tybalt's Trickery, the Ornithopter, revealing the Tarrasque. What does this thing do? It has Ward 10 as long as you cast it. Whenever it attacks, it fights target creature defending player controls. Terror of Mount Velos. Flying double strike, ETB, creatures you control gain double strike. How in the world do I not die? I have to generate a token. I have to generate a creature to block with every single turn. Well, I need to find something. So, cycle this. Untap Botanical. Well, I guess I'm flashing in Hexcatcher to chump block this thing. So, over to them. All right, flash in Hexcatcher. Block. Play this tap. Play Kumena. All right, it fights. I forgot about that. Yeah, all right, we're dead. So, okay, so it's just all in stopping Trickery. So, change the equation. Mist Caller. Technically, the Tarrasque isn't the only payoff they have, so maybe Fading Hope sometimes matters, but it probably mostly doesn't. This can technically counter a Tybalt's Trickery, so let's bring that in. And then what is bad here? Just like anything that's too slow, right? So like Kumena Speaker, Cenote. Does Tidebinder do anything here? It doesn't have any interaction with Trickery, right? So therefore it actually doesn't do anything. So let's just bring back some of these 1-drops. Man, they can win as early as turn 2. You cast the spell, right? So Damping Sphere actually stops it, sort of, unless they just wait a turn. They can just wait a turn though, right? I guess they have to go spell, hold priority, Trickery. So that's another 2 mana that they need in order to go off. So if we just play this on turn 2, then it takes them until turn 4 to do it. All right. I can't believe Trickery is legal in Pioneer. I thought for sure that card would just be banned everywhere. All right, well, we've got Mist Caller, so, I mean, we're good. Keep. Oh, and it wasn't cast. You do cast it. Oh, I guess Mist Caller doesn't work. You do actually cast the spell. All right, well, in that case, we don't have it. So shock this in, play Benthic. We've got Hexcatcher, though, so we can counter this stuff. All right, got to reevaluate this thing. So I officially can never tap out until I get Hexcatcher into play, right? Yeah, so I guess I'm just going to play Hexcatcher right now, right? Just to get in more damage. No, I guess I'm not. Let's just make them burn their spell. All right, Mountain, Ornithopter, Trickery, Flash and Hexcatcher. Counter this, sack this guy. All right, you have an Ornithopter. Sanctum, Deep-Root Pilgrimage, Mist Caller, go to combat, attack with this thing so we make a Merfolk token. All right, they have conceded. Magic as Richard Garfield intended. All right, so the Mist Callers actually don't do anything, so let's take these out. F if I know. I guess technically the Fading Hope, like if they don't hit Tarask, the Fading Hopes can bounce the other creatures that they can hit. What's my worst creature? Is it Mistbinder? Like, that's not going to matter. All right, whatever. Submit. All right, we only have one land and it's a Mutavault Mull. We still only have one land and it's a Mutavault Mull. All right, Hexcatcher and another guy. Keep, put back. They don't counter any of our stuff, so I guess it doesn't matter. So let's put back Cavern and one of the Bark Channels. Since they actually cast it, couldn't you Disdainful Stroke? Oh, you are correct, yes. Should have brought in Stroke. I mean, literally, I'm too slow on the draw to counter this. So play this, play Benthic. If they have it, they have it. Yep, they have it. I can't believe this thing is legal. How is this thing legal? Wait, what? Huh? What happened? Okay. Cavern, name Merfolk. Attack. A mountain. All right. Flash and Hexcatcher. Let's just play Mutavault and then just start hitting them, I guess. Actually, we're definitely adapting this. So this one. Loot. Ditch the breeding pool, I guess. Combat. Attack. They have 4 lands. All right. Animate Mutavault. Play another Mutavault. Go to combat. Attack. I should have played Agatha here. Whatever. It's fine. Okay, we win. Yay. Magic is a game of skill. All right, it's round 4. We are on the draw. Reveal Gigantha. This hand doesn't look great, but it doesn't look so bad that I'm going to ship it, so I'll keep, I guess. Hive of the Eye Tyrant, Fairy Dream Thief. All right, so it's mono black, aggro. Bin's another Dream Thief. All right, play tapped Breeding Pool and go. They play a Copter. I guess we're going to play a Copter, and then, I don't know, we're doing something. Botanical Sanctum, play a Copter. Apparently in our last match, the Trickery hit another Trickery. Cruise the Copter. We're going to get hit by the Copter. They discard Bloodsoaked Champion, which they can reanimate this turn, I guess, which they're doing. Kumena, you say. Is it better to block? I guess so, and if they have Fatal Push, so be it. All right, I mean, like, we're already on the back foot, so let's just pass. Kill our guy. Response, crew the Copter. And they have Fatal Push. All right. Okay, opponent. So we take 5 and go to 11. They mill another Dream Thief and a Swamp, and they have 1 card in their hand. Ooh, double Hexcatchers, you say. That seems promising. We can also Besage this Copter or this Castle. All right, Tide Channel, and then I guess I'm just passing. So I will block this Bloodsoaked if they do that. I guess no. I guess I just Besage the Copter. Like, they're getting... Man, but if I Besage the Copter, then I'm not Besaging Castle. It's just such a problem. Yeah, you know what? Let's just Besage the Copter. Like, I just can't let them keep hitting me every turn. Animates Hive. Yeah, that's fine. Exiling Kumena. Yeah. So we take 5. They have another land. All right, Flash and Hexcatcher. Oh, come on. The last card in their hand's Fatal Push. Give me a break. All right, so I can Tidebinder this thing, I guess, or Castle, but then it doesn't turn it off. There's no way I'm getting a chance to play Otawara, or to channel Otawara. I need to block this guy too, so I probably need to flash in Tidebinder and then have Agathas to pump it, maybe? I don't know. So let's play Agathas and back to them. They are not activating the Hive, which makes sense. All right, I have to flash in Tidebinder. I can't just keep taking damage here. So flash in the Tidebinder. I mean, there's nothing to target, so then block this dude. And then before damage, Agatha's not a Dream Thief because they can exile it in response. Exile our own Hexcatcher. So then we get the counter, we get to block this, and we take 1 from the Dream Thief. Oh, Shieldred. Of course it's Shieldred. She's got to be kidding me. And the Bloodsoaked Champion comes back. Well, we don't actually have an answer to Shieldred, right? Oh, we drew a land too. Cool. So we're drawing nothing. What do I even do here? I'm just actually dead, right? I can't block this thing, and then we just die to Shieldred? Okay, mono black, aggro, Shapers, and then after that, I don't really want anything. Mistcaller's pretty bad. And what's the next worst card? Probably just like some random aggro creature, like Kumena's. Yeah, all right, let's do that. 5 lands, Hexcatcher, Soul Cauldron. Yeah, that's not going to do it. So, 4 lands, Shaper. Okay. Keep this and put away one of the Mutavaults. All right, so shock this in. First things first, Shapers. Urborg. Thoughtseize. Take 1 of our 2 guys. We drew Soul Cauldron. All right, it's more mana efficient to play Soul Cauldron, so let's play Soul Cauldron. Yeah, all right. They bet our Kumena. I don't know, I guess I'll exile this thing. Why not? Oh, another Soul Cauldron. All right, well, play Cavern, name Merfolk. I guess I'm attacking them. Animate this. Yeah, exile this guy. Put the counter on the Mutavault. Go to combat. Swing. Take one from the bat. They gain one. 16 to 17. Dream Thief. Surveilling another Dream Thief. All right, we're stealing that. Plays another Dream Thief. Bloodsoaked Champion. All right, I'm taking that instead. Animate. Agatha's. Eat this dude. Play this tapped. Go to combat. Attack here. All right, they're at 12. We actually don't win this race. Attacks for 3. We go to 14. They go to 13. Plays another bat. Steals the Agatha out of our hand. Sure. I mean, what else can I do? Animate this. Agatha's. Eat that. Put another counter on Benthic on this thing. I guess I'm going to play Benthic because why not? And then attack with the Mutavault. So they're dealing 4 a turn and gaining 2 a turn. All right, damage, they go to 8. So they swing here. So we go to 10, they go to 10. Plays their 3rd land. Plays Graveyard Trespasser, which can't target anything. But that does put us in a position where our attacks are not good anymore because now we're just taking too much on the backswing. Drawing into Deeproot Pilgrimage. Okay, so that is good. So play Deeproot, then animate the Mutavault, go to combat, attack, trigger the Deeproot. So now we get a blocker, and we're back to them. Another Dream Thief, surveils to the top. I do have to block this guy if they attack with him, because otherwise I'm taking too much damage. All right, they're just swinging here. We can't block any of that. So we go to 6, they go to 7. They're not even forced to block this Mutavault on the backswing. All right, what do we draw? Hexcatcher. So if I animate the Mutavault, I can still play Hexcatcher. So they have 3 blocks between Mutavault, Graveyard Trespasser, and Dream Thief. So I should attack with everything, right? Because then, if they animate with Mutavault, the only bad block that they have on me is that they can block with Trespasser, right? All right, so animate Mutavault. It also puts them in a position where they have to block, whereas otherwise they wouldn't have to. And we're still going to get a blocker on defense. So go to combat, attack with everything, trigger the Deeproot Pilgrimage. So blocks here, they got to chump here, right? Yeah. So before damage, flash and Hexcatcher. All right, so then damage, this dies, and then we have a creature in our graveyard that we can Agatha. So back to them. And then they don't have lethal on us because this. Wait, so they didn't have removal and they didn't animate Mutavault. I'm so confused. All right, I'm going to target whatever they target with Graveyard Trespasser if they attack with Trespasser. Not attacking with Trespasser. All right, so we can't block, so we go to 2. Plays a land. Oh, come on. Come on. Are you kidding me? So there's nothing I can do in response to that. All right, the Shapers was completely worthless. Just absolutely worthless. Which I find it to be a lot of the time. So in a lot of these matchups where you bring in Shapers, it doesn't matter what deck it is, like in the Amalia deck too, a lot of opponents will just play around it, and it a lot of times just winds up doing nothing. I am under a voodoo curse, right? Like, it's not just me. Our opponents always have exactly what they need. Oh, you played Shaper Sanctuary on turn 1? Well, I have 2 Thought Seizes into all flying creatures, no ground attackers, so that none of your guys can block my stuff, and then into Shieldred for the final lethal. On the play for round 5. All right, we technically have mana, so I think I can keep this, although I can't activate Benthic with this hand, nor can I play or cycle Vizier. I have to try to find lands with Knowpe, basically. We are against the Yorion deck, which probably means control. All right, keep. So Cavern, name Merfolk, play Knowpe. Trigger, top card is Benthic, bin that. All right, it's control. So back to us. Can't cast Deeproot Pilgrimage, so I guess I'm casting Benthic. All right, attack with Knowpe. Plays a tap land. All right, finally. I imagine we're going to get temp lockdowned. So let's shock this in. Let's adapt this dude. Because I have some truly trash cards in my hand. Yeah, let's get rid of another Benthic. And then there is always the chance that they don't have the lockdown. So, I mean, kind of have to commit stuff. Like, we can't just have 2 creatures. Go to combat, attack for 4. They did not have the lockdown. All right. So if they activate Field of Ruin, I can Tishana it, and then they're down a land. All right, so let's go to combat. Attack for 6. Pass the turn. Flashes an Omen of the Sea. Well, I'll counter that. Omen of the Sea trigger, flash in Tishana. Target this trigger. No Omen for you. Now watch them just have Verdict. Nope. All right. Kind of shocked that they don't have it. So play this. Let's play Deeproot. They have Wandering Emperor, I guess, probably. So let's just get as much damage in as we can. Animate Mutavault. Combat. Attack with everything. Pilgrimage trigger. Somehow they had 0 interaction. All right. So control. Dispute. Stroke. Change the equation. No. Shapers. They have Sweepers, so it's not as good. Nothing else is really as good. I guess Haywire Might is good for lockdown and maybe they're not going to have leyline binding. They have lockdown and that's it, right? So Mist Caller's worthless. What else? I mean, I guess it can get... No, I can't get anything. So there's that. The Benthic Biomancers seem so bad, but I don't know. It's going to be one of the 1-drops. All right, cut a Cauldron, cut 2 Speakers. All right, let's go with that. This is fine, although we're missing blue mana, but other than that, it's fine. All right, keep tapped blue land. All right, play Beseju, play Cenote. Top card is Kumena, which we can't even play, so bin that over to them. All right, go to combat and attack with this guy, and then we'll play Copter post-combat. Swing. All right, attempt to resolve Copter. No, it gets countered. All right, back to them. Plays Chrome Host. Huh. So Cavern on Merfolk. I mean, I can't attack into it, so I guess I just play Mistbinder, Kumena, pass. Oh, I can't even do that. I guess I play Mistbinder and pass. Over to them. Or maybe I was supposed to play like double Kumena and then Mistbinder. I don't know. All right, we finally found a blue land. So I can't attack with this guy. So let's go Deep Root. Finally caught a stream. Let's go. You're the goat. Thank you, Paul Bunnying. I assume they'll counter this if they have a counter. Apparently not. All right, go to combat. Attack with this dude. Trigger this. They can block, but at least we get a token out of it. Omen of the Sea, which creates a 2/2 so they can transmute this, or they can transform this and double block to kill our guy, which I guess is okay. They put both cards on top. That's not a good sign. Yeah, they transform this thing and then block, block. Move this here, so kill that. Well, let's just play both of these guys. All right, if they're attacking here, then they almost certainly just have a sweeper to kill everything. Yep, there's the sweeper, and the tokens aren't even creatures, so they don't even lose the token. I mean, I couldn't not do it. So animate Mutavault, go to combat, attack with Mutavault, make a token. So then play a Mutavault, play Haywire Might, over to them. Baneslayer Angel. Interesting, sir. Interesting. All right. Well, this is never getting in, so I'm just going to eat this incubator token. Another Mutavault, you say? All right, back to them. Oh, I should have put Gigantha in my hand. Completely forgot about that. I haven't put it in my hand once this whole league, so... Oh, do they also have... Oh, a Shark Typhoon, so we super can't win now. All right, I guess technically it's beneficial to attack with double Pilgrimage, so play that, put Gigantha in my hand, combat, swing with the token, double triggers. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't trigger on tokens? Oh. I mean, we're still, like, super not winning this game. They have Baneslayer with Shark Typhoon in play. We're just absolutely not winning. Plays another Shark Typhoon into their first Shark Typhoon. Kumena's quite the draw. Holy crap. All right, so how do I do this? I need these 2 colors of mana for Kumena. So I'm not going to be able to do all of them. So animate the Mutavault, then tap this Mutavault for mana, double trigger making tokens. Then we get to uncounterable. I'm more likely to have a single green in use than blue. I don't know. It's iffy. So Kumena, then activate Kumena, tapping all of these to draw a card. We get 2 more tokens. We draw a card off Kumena. All right, well, so then animate the Mutavault. Then we float mana here. It makes more tokens. Then we tap these tokens, draw another card. Can't cast Cauldron, so then we pass back to them. So we're dead in 2 hits. Omen of the Sea, 2 more tokens. Swing here. Take 11. We go to 4, right? Yeah, they're at 31. They are field ruining one of our Mutavaults. Very well. Grab an island. All right, so we can't possibly live through this, right? Like, if we pass back to them, we're dead. So I've got Hex Catcher, and then I can attack. They have double blocks, and then we only get in 10 damage, so that's not enough. I can have a Copter to block one of their things, but then we're still dead to the other one. So there is a way to win if Cauldron resolves and if I have insane draws. So let's just start with drawing some cards. So tap, tap, tap. Another Copter. All right. And draw some more. Tap, tap, tap. Now, I need to get more Merfolk, and I can't tap Kumena because I have to be able to attack into him with the Kumena. So I guess, wait a minute. I have Haywire Might in my graveyard, right? So I can Cauldron and then use these Merfolk to sack to kill the Shark Typhoons to gain life. So that can put me to 8, although it costs me 4 mana to do it. Actually, no, I only get 1 of them, right? Because I only get 1 thing with a +1 counter on it. So, and I only have 1 green mana. Well, the Cauldron lets me fix, right? Yeah. But I still can't beat everything in the air is the problem. I guess this whole line doesn't work unless I resolve Cauldron. So how much mana do I need? I need to animate both of these Mutavaults and tap them both for mana. Yeah. So animate this Mutavault, then tap it for mana to make some tokens, then spend the mana that I have floating to animate this Mutavault, then tap it to make some tokens and mana, and then Soul Cauldron has to resolve here or I'm dead, right? I think I'm still dead in the air anyway, though, because I have to get Copter into play, too, so I can block. Block 5, 7, 9, we're still dead. All right, play Soul Cauldron, tap this, tap this. Yeah, they have a counterspell, right? Make disappear, and they're sacking one of their sharks. So then the casualty goes on the stack. Okay, so I flash in Hexcatcher, countering both of these, but then I'm still in a position where even if I do that, then I'm out of mana after that, and then so the Soul Cauldron doesn't matter anymore. All right, let's draw another card. A Cavern of Souls. So I'll have one left over. That's still not enough. All right, I have to Hexcatcher this. So Hexcatcher, activate, counter this, sack a token, then counter that. All right, so the Shark token's resolved and the Soul Cauldron resolves, but it doesn't matter anymore because we're still going to lose. Activate Kumena, tap these guys, draw a card, make some more tokens, another Copter. All right, we're dead. Yeah, let's bring Soul Cauldron back and cut this dude. 2 lands. We have some good stuff going on here. So it's not a good curve, though, but we can get Pilgrimage out and then maybe find something. All right, I'm going to keep. So Breeding Pool, tapped, go. Mistbinder. All right, we'll play Mistbinder. Back to them. Another land here would be great. They play a tap land. It is not another land here. All right, let's cycle Vizier. Trigger, untap this land. Draw a card, try to find a land. All right, we did find a land. So then let's Deep Root, combat, swing, make a token. And as always, we get hit by lockdown if they lock down, but what can we do? Yep, there's the lockdown. Copter, you say. What would I Mystical Dispute if they played it? Nothing on 4, probably. So do I just get Kumena into play and then... No, Copter's got to be better, right? All right, let's play Knowpe. Trigger, what's on top? A land. All right, so play this tapped, play Copter. And then that means next turn I can have one of these 3 drops open plus Dispute. Land number 4, back to us. All right, so let's crew the Copter. Let's go to combat. Get lost here. I guess that's fine. Yeah. Let's play Kumena and over to them. Verdict. Can't do anything about that. All right, Cavern of Souls on Merfolk. And I think I just put Gigantha in my hand right now. Back to them. Plays a land. All right. So back to us. Let's cast Deep Root Pilgrimage, then back to them, and we'll just, if they don't do anything, we'll just flash in Tidebinder as a threat. Memory Deluge. That is probably worth countering. I don't know. They only have 2 open. No, it's fine. Like I have to be able to counter to Fairy, although we're getting to the point where we won't be able to anymore. Temp Lockdown. All right, I will respond to that. So Temp Lockdown trigger, and then we will Tidebinder that. So counter that ability. Then back to us. All right. So I want 3 open for Tidebinder, and I want 1 open for Dispute. Or I could play Gigantha and hold 1 open for Dispute. It's kind of iffy. So let's go to combat. Get lost our dude. I'm fine with that. That's fine. That resolves. And then we will play this, and I'm just going to run Gigantha out while holding up Dispute mana. They appear to just be passing back to us. All right. Soul Cauldron. We've got Vizier and Kumena in the graveyard. So if I attack here, they can just Wandering Emperor, and then I guess I can Tishana the Wandering Emperor, and then that leaves me with exactly enough. All right, so they can make a 4/4 Shark. Let's attack with Gigantha. Swing. There is the Emperor. So that resolves. Then we cast Tishana off of this uncounterable mana. Cycle Shark Typhoon to make a 0/0 Shark, so just to draw a card. All right, that's fine. All right, counter this ability. Then they take 5. And then we will play Soul Cauldron while they're tapped out. And then we don't have any reason to use that immediately. No, actually there is. I should eat the Deluge out of their graveyard so they can't use it. And then we will pass with Dispute up. Even though I feel like it's probably unlikely that they're going to play a land and just Dispute, but let's just do it anyway. All right, Memory Deluge, let's attempt to counter that. It's not going to get much better than this. Dispute us back. All right, sure. So Deluge, and they only have 1 mana. I don't think they've played a land this turn, so they'll have max 2 mana. All right, second land. And they're passing back to us. We drew Cavern. All right, so let's map onto Gigantha. It's a Vidalian Hexcatcher on top. Let's put that in the graveyard. And then let's map onto Tishana's. It is Smuggler's Copter. Let's put that in the graveyard. All right, so we have 10 damage here. So if they don't have a response, then map plus Agatha's is lethal. So the only response they can probably have here is Get Lost. All right, map the Gigantha again. That assumes that we don't hit a land off of one of these explorers. All right, we did hit a land off of one of these explorers, so it's not lethal. So that being the case, let's play this tapped. I guess there's no reason not to map now, so let's map. Is Cenote, bend that. All right, so I'm gonna pass here because if we pass here, then I can make infinite tokens at the end of their turn if they don't have a sweeper or a way to kill Soul Cauldron. So like if they don't have spot removal or a sweeper, verdict. Well, they have a verdict. There's nothing I can really do in response to that. That also unlocks Wandering Emperor, although that's okay, I guess. Can't counter it with Hexcatcher. Making tokens is irrelevant. I can put Kumena under here, but then I still can't actually draw a card. Yeah, all right. These get swept. I guess, no, I can tap Gigantha to make a token here. How does that help me in any way? I activate Gigantha, I make 1 token. Who cares? Yeah, it doesn't matter. All right, verdict, boom. Wandering Emperor gets unlocked, although they can't really do much with it. Wandering Emperor plus on nothing, Puts Yorion in their hand, which they can use to reacquire the lockdowns, which is really bad for us. All right, eat Memory Deluge. Back to us. Man, we're just drawing garbage. All right, cool. Play this tapped, and then I guess we just pass to them. So I can make a Samurai Yorion, blink out the temp lockdowns, and Wandering Emperor to make another Samurai. Although the temp lockdown will kill the first Samurai. So they get a Samurai, and they get all of our stuff, which is really unfortunate. If they blink out this lockdown, we get our stuff back, so they can just blink out this lockdown and not have to worry about that. Yeah. What am I doing instead then? I guess I'm just eating some other thing out of their graveyard on the off chance that it matters somehow. All right, eat, I don't know, Shark Typhoon. All right, and there goes any shot that we had to do anything. So they got this and 3 cards in their hand, and we have nothing, and we keep drawing nothing. All right, well, we drew Otawara, so we can bounce one of these back. How does that help? I can get Deep Root plus Cauldron back for 1 turn, and then they just play Lockdown again. Cavern, name Merfolk. I mean, it literally doesn't matter if we do that now. So I guess I'm just waiting on that. I have to wait until I draw a creature, basically. They play a land, make a Samurai. We're taking 6. Back to us. Hey, it's a Vizier. I guess we can technically play that as a creature. Although how does that help me? It sort of helps me. All right, let's play Vizier. All right, if you have absolutely no counter spells or removal of any kind, then this can get through. All right, they have a counter spell. And then we're just going to lose to the board. So this is 9 damage coming in this turn. So the only way I cannot lose here is channeling this lockdown back to their hand, drawing a Soul Cauldron, and then they have to not have any interaction at all. All right, plays a Baneslayer, sure. All right, end of turn, channel Otawara, bounce this lockdown. We draw another Pilgrimage. All right, we're dead. 2 and 3 with Merfolk. So there's different versions. There's Coco versions. There's versions with Soul Cauldron. They have different 1-drops in them. Some play the Tricksters, some don't. Like, there's all kinds of different Merfolk you could play. I think I like this Soul Cauldron version, and I don't think I would ever want Coco in a deck like this because basically the only Merfolk that you actually care about hitting are Hexcatcher and Kumena, and then all the other creatures that you're hitting kind of suck. So I feel like that's a reason not to have Coco. But these 1-drops also really suck. Like, they're so bad. To the point where I almost want these to not even be Merfolk and to just be like Mana Elves to get going faster and just like lean into the Soul Cauldron combo aspect of the deck. We're not even playing all of our Lords. I don't know. It feels kind of mediocre. I feel like there needs to be more iterations of this before it can actually be a good deck. And one of the main things is probably this deck needs to be playing Springleaf Drum. It would give you another way of tapping guys to trigger the Deep Root Pilgrimage while also having more mana to get going faster. And the deck also has a huge problem with dealing with any sort of big threat that comes down because it just has like a handful of counter spells, and then the only actual interaction it has is Fading Hopes, which are just temporary answers and not permanent answers. And therefore, if your opponent plays a Baneslayer, Shark Typhoon, Elder Gargaroth, like you basically can't beat it. So the deck needs to have some kind of way of actually getting around that problem. And I think one of the main things is like, holy crap, these 1-drops are so bad. All of them are just garbage. They're so terrible. And I don't think there's really anything else you can replace them with here. So that is kind of the problem, which leads me to believe that you just don't want to be an aggro deck and that you actually want to be more like combo elves and lean into the Soul Cauldron plan because the aggro plan's awful. But anyways, that is the end of Merfolk in Pioneer.